We're sitting down here in Kit Carson, Colorado, kind of down where we were last night with the storms that came through there. Slow moving storms dumping tons of rain. Wasn't actually planning on going live today, but this storm just kind of blew up down here, and they're doing the same thing. This little line that's down between Kit Carson and Hugo, that's kind of following along Highway 40. It's doing about the same thing it did last night, with just moving so slow. I think this thing's only going 15 knots, kind of moving to the south and east. But it's going so slow, it's just dumping massive amounts of rain over areas that have already been hit by a lot of flooding last night. There's a flood warning out on this storm. I'm going to turn you around here so you can see the storm in front of us, and I'll read you some of this. This is kind of the main part of this, the northern part of this line that we're on. Let's see, it's flash flood radar and gauge indicated, and Doppler radar automated rain gauges indicated thunderstorms producing heavy rain across the warned area. Between 1 and 3.5 inches of rain have fallen. Additional rainfall amounts of 2 inches are possible, 1 to 2 inches, in the southern portions of the warned area that are currently receiving heavy rain. Flash flooding is ongoing or expected to begin shortly. Flash flooding caused by thunderstorms, radar and automated gauges indicated. That's kind of the most dangerous part of that, probably. There's also a severe thunderstorm warning on this storm, and we'll take a look at that. A severe thunderstorm located 8 miles south of, they say Boreal, but I think it's Aurora, or 38 miles southeast of Lyman, moving southeast at 10. The 10 miles an hour is what's causing the problems with the flooding, because the rain is just dumping on the same area over and over. This also has ping pong ball size hail and 60 mile an hour wind gust. It is radar indicated. Rural areas of southeastern Lincoln County. Tornadoes can develop quickly from severe thunderstorms. They're warning about that. I mean, not a tornado warning, but they did mention possibility of tornadoes earlier in the day. Yeah, so that's kind of the reason we went live. Came down to do this by myself today. I don't have Maria with me, which is the first time I've gone live by myself. So with the system we're working with, if you don't know, we have a couple of people in here. This is a new live stream setup that we're working on. So we're kind of limited on what we can do. Like, for instance, I can't focus this camera streaming through YouTube, which makes me crazy. So if we get into rain, especially heavy rain, then the camera will automatically focus on the windshield, and I can't fix that. So we're probably going to stay back from this storm a little bit and just kind of monitor it from afar and see how that goes. We will have the camera issues fixed in the coming couple of weeks, where we'll be streaming through a home computer, and I'll regain full control of the camera and be able to focus and make other adjustments for exposure and that kind of thing with it. They just extended the thunderstorm warning. I'm going to show you this. I'll just put this back up here. And you can see where I am is the blue dot right here, right there. This is that flashing box, the flashing blue box. That is the flood warning. And that thunderstorm that's in there right here, the purple, that's the hail. They said ping pong ball sized hail. This is the new thunderstorm warning. Down south in the southern part of the storms, they said there's flooding down there also that's ongoing, and that's also a thunderstorm warned. But they just extended this one out. So we're going to go back up on the dash for you guys, and we're going to check out the wording on the new thunderstorm warning that's been extended. And it looks like the hail size has dropped, which I would expect, because I didn't think the hail cores would survive very long in these, but then I didn't think we'd have a storm that did this either. So it's a severe thunderstorm warning for southwestern Cheyenne County and east central Colorado. Severe thunderstorm located 17 miles southeast of Borio again, Aurora, I think is what it is, or 40 miles south of Flagler. That's easier to find. Moving southeast at 30, so it's really picked up the pace, which is probably good for the people that are suffering from the flooding. Hazard of this is 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, quarter-sized hail now. It is radar indicated. Hail damage to vehicles, expect wind damage to roofs. It's over mainly rural areas of southeast or southwestern Cheyenne County in east central Colorado, Wild Horse and Aurora. Let's see, they're calling this torrential rainfall is occurring with this storm. It may lead to flash flooding. I think it is leading to flash flooding. Do not drive your vehicle through flooded roadways. That's the other thing too, is we won't chase this probably out onto the rural roads, the country roads, because they got hit last night with this kind of rain, and with them getting this again, and I can't help but believe some of them aren't, or a lot of them aren't washed out, and maybe some roadways underwater. So at any rate, we're gonna sit here for just a minute. We're probably gonna go back to Kit Carson and drop south on Highway 287, just like I said, to stay ahead of these, because if we get in too much, we'll probably get in the rain, and then you're not gonna see anything but my windshield anyway, once the camera loses focus and we're locked on the raindrops on the windshield. So for now, what we're gonna do, let's take a look here. From the edge of that rain, we're probably only 10 miles. So we're gonna jump back on the highway, on Highway 40 here, and we're gonna drive west. And I keep saying we, but I'm used to Maria being with me. She's at home today, monitoring this. So it's just me. And we're gonna go down 40, we're gonna go west a little bit. If it starts raining, we'll go until we lose focus, then we'll turn around, we'll come back to Kit Carson, and we'll go south and get out a little further south, kind of a little more in front of it, and see if we can get a good look at it from down there. So yeah, I'm gonna back out of here, just off the highway. I am going to, it's also, I'm down one electronic device too, because I'm having to use my personal phone for the stream right now, and that kind of limits me on other electronic devices that I could monitor the stream with. And let's see, but we're gonna make it work. There's our picture. Adrian wants to know if it's headed to Burlington. No, it is not headed to Burlington. I think the southeast is the direction it's going. We don't get rain in Burlington, I don't think, anymore. But yeah, so let's go just a little bit west, see if we can get on the edge of this, and then bail back to the east and then south on that other highway. And again, I can't really monitor chat because I've got to have this for radar. So we're going to change that back. Actually, I might be able to do a little bit of both. It's a learning experience. We've only been working with this live streaming setup for a few weeks now, and getting it set up. So seems like every time out is a learning experience. But we'll get better. We'll get good at this, and we'll get you good video quality and good sound. I hope the sound is good today. We've been tweaking these microphones about the last 3 times that we've been out, and I'm hoping they're good today. It's a good looking storm. I mean, it really is. It's really pretty. There's been some good lightning in it. So maybe we can get into this and get some good bolts and give us a reason for being out here. Like I said, I wasn't originally going to go live. I just kind of came down here because I had just an idea of coming down and photographing some lightning, and then when the storm just started kind of blowing up, I thought, you know what, maybe we'll just go live on it and see what happens. I don't think it's going to be too far before we're in the outer edge of this rain. We'll drive into it until we just can't anymore. I'd love to go south on it right here, but I just think we'd be on some pretty sketchy roads. But we might be able to get a little bit south on it. We'll go back, and there's a road J down there off the Highway 287 that goes south. So we might be able to go down 287 and catch that road J and possibly get a little more in front of this. Since it's going southeast, we need to drop a little bit south. Like I said, I think the hail threat's diminishing on this a bit, but still pretty considerable hail. "60-mile-an-hour wind-driven quarter-sized hail will do some damage." There is some good lightning out here, so we'll go set up here in a minute and just kind of sit here and watch that come in. Pretty colors in the lower part of this storm. There's just to the left of the highway here, it's really green and blue in there. I don't know if you can see that so much on the stream. I'd like to turn you a little bit left to look on that, but I was kind of excited earlier, about 20 minutes ago, just driving down the highway. I had an idea to be able to turn this stream camera, and I just stopped real quick on the side of the highway and looked it up, and I can actually buy a mount for that camera that I can put on a small ball head and hook to my dash, so I'll be able to move it left and right. So just another thing that we'll have coming in the next week or so that'll just make this better. But it is pretty. That road came up on me quick. Okay, we'll get up here and find another place to turn off. We can watch the storm come in. I think I've been to this exact pull-off before and got hailed on. Let's see, we want to be right about there. And we are on the very edge of this rain, so. It's just a few people in here. It looks like 4 or 5. I think we're kind of bouncing back and forth. So if you've never been here before, thank you very much. I can't really read chat right now, so if you get a chance, drop me a line of how you found us. Subscribe to the channel, if you would, please, and turn on the notifications, as we'll be going live a lot for severe weather, especially next spring. But we're going to be covering winter storms, blizzards, nature, wildlife shoots. We're going to cover a lot of material. So if you subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, you'll be notified when we're doing that. Did you forget your glasses again? Actually, yes. I didn't forget them. They're actually right here with me, but I don't like to wear them, so I'm kind of stubborn. The eye doctor said that anybody that manages to live as long as I do and didn't have to wear glasses, it's kind of hard to talk them into wearing glasses on a daily basis. I'm going to turn this just a little bit here. Well, that is a pretty storm. I could wear them. I should wear them. You can actually see a lot better. They're just a pain. People that wear glasses know that. A couple of good bright bolts out of this would be nice, make the drive down here worth it. Super pretty storm, it really is. In fact, I am going to jump out and take a couple of quick pictures of this thing. If you don't mind, I'll leave you here to watch that for a second. And it looks like we're just starting to get in the rain a little bit. So we'll sit here as long as we can maintain focus. We're actually now in that thunderstorm warning, but I think the bulk of that hail is south of us. When we go back to Kit Carson and drop south, we'll get down in the very corner of this storm and should have it coming right at us. Let me show you what I'm talking about here for just a second. This storm is actually coming down this way. You follow my finger that way, and we're setting up here. We're going to come back here and drop south and just get down here to this corner and let this part of it, which is the better hail core, kind of come right at us. Picture looks good and the audio is good. That's good to hear. Drama, that's Maria, drama in focus. Oh, that's Maria telling me to wear the glasses, no wonder. Picture looks great and the audio is good, she says. Well, good. That is a total win then for the week. Because we did a drive to Wichita last week. We had to go pick something up. Now she's laughing at me. And we had a guy that from Michigan that got into chat, and he was telling us about our audio, and apparently that's what he does for a living. And thanks to him, I knew it wasn't working. We managed to get the one mic fixed, and now we've tweaked the settings, and hopefully the audio is really good now. She says it is, so it must be. It was a beautiful, beautiful storm. Really nice. Adrian, are you still here? Adrian might have had to step away. No, he's still watching, he says. Well, I wish I had something more exciting here to show you, but I guess something pretty is okay. That's good. I'd like to get back in there and look at some of that area and that flood warning, because it's almost the same place that got hit last night with really heavy rains. So And I would bet some of those areas down just south of 40, I bet some of those have been hit with 6 inches of rain in the last 2 days. Might be worth a drive down here just to fly a drone and see some of the water in the creeks and stuff down there. Adrian, were you in Denver the last 2 days with all that hail and the floods they had there? I heard they had 3-foot drifts of hail. Okay, guys, we're going to go back to Kit Carson, so we're going to have to turn around and we won't have as good a view for a while until we turn south and get back out in front of this thing. That was a little rough. So we're headed back east, back to Kit Carson and the southern end of the cell. The hail core on this looks like it's really starting to diminish right now, which is kind of what I expected. I was finally able to see the chat, and Adrian said he wasn't in Denver for that hail and all that flooding that they had. And I don't think they'll have that this next week. He said you've got to be there all week, it looks like. I think what I saw earlier, we've got a chance of rain maybe Wednesday and Saturday. Oh, Aaron's back today. Hey, Aaron. Yeah, good to see you too. I think what I'm going to do, Maria, is get a second iPad, get an iPad mini, and that way I can monitor the stream. And off the iPad, of course, I don't have radar when I do that. Off the iPad, I can monitor the stream and I can see the chat, and I don't have to wear my glasses. So it's a win all the way around. So a little iPad mini, if I can hook it up and make that work, I may just do that. Okay, so we've got out in front of us where we don't have any rain, and we're only a couple of miles from hitting that Highway 287. Yeah, Maria said she did manage to get in a nap this afternoon, but I was watching TV and they had I don't know, some kind of a commercial where halfway through the commercial, they had a doorbell ring, and both the Yorkies were sleeping with her, and man, they lost it. They went ballistic, barking and running out of there. They thought somebody was at our house, and it was just on the TV. I think that ended her nap time. Yeah, I'm kind of like that too. I can sleep in the daytime, but I shouldn't, because if I do, my day's over. Whenever I go to sleep, the day's over. Hey, going through Kit Carson, I'm going to roll the window down. Can you let me know if the sound gets really unbearable having a window down going through here? I'm I'm just wondering how good these mics are at isolating out the noise outside and just concentrating on what's inside. Okay, we're almost through Kit Carson and we'll go south. Adrian says it still sounds good, so which is great because I like dropping the window going through towns anyway. I think if we were doing 70 down the highway, it wouldn't sound as good, but I can kind of get a little fresh air in here going through a town like that. Aaron says it sounds good. Wonderful, thank you. All right, so we can drop south here a little bit. Go back to radar. We still do have a bit of a hail core on this storm, and it is still warned. Adrian said it sounds good too. That southern part of the storm is moving straight east now, and they've warned that way out, almost to Highway 385. So they've warned that out almost all the way to the highway. Awfully dark, man. I can't wait to turn you guys back and look at this. This is a good looking storm. It's pretty. There, I had to refresh the radar. And we're going to go down here 4 or 5 miles and then turn back and get a good look at it, because we won't have very long before it's right on top of us, I don't believe. In fact, it looks so good. I don't think we're going to go that far because we don't have very long before it's here. So there's a county road right up here. We'll turn back to the west and get a good look at this. It looks so good. I may actually have to, once we turn back into it, I may have to jump out with a real camera this time and take a couple pictures. Drive back out this thing. Look how good that looks, man. Look at that shelf cloud on the front of this. That's beautiful, isn't it? Wow. That looks really awesome. Pretty cool, yeah. Maria had to put her last load of laundry in. She's back now just in time. Check out this shelf cloud on this. We got to go up here and get out of these telephone poles. I don't want a picture with all the poles in it. So we've got to hurry a little bit. Looks like there's a road here, and I think that these Highline poles might end. That would be awesome. They do. So we're going to stop right here. I'm just going to leave you guys right there on the dash, and I'm going to grab a real camera and get a couple of images so I can make a panorama of this. This is really nice. But I am going to straighten you up a bit and give you a little bit better look there. Okay. Sorry for the clicking noise. It's a magnet on the mic. I'll be right back. All right. While I was out there, that wind picked up and you could feel the temperature change. I bet it dropped. Well, it dropped a bunch. I don't know how much. I can't see the thing on the dash right now, but I bet it dropped to 12, 15 degrees just all at once. Maybe we will go back and just get a little south. That is really cool, though. I was shooting a panorama because it's so far across the sky. Even with a 10 millimeter lens, it still takes a couple of shots that you'll have to stitch together later. I'll turn you over here and show you how fast this is moving. Man, it's really screaming now compared to how slow it was going earlier. Take a look at this edge. Look at that. We'll just sit here and Bob Churchwell says, where are you at? Bob, we're setting, or I'm setting, Maria's not with me today. I'm about, I don't know, 4 miles south of Kit Carson, just off the off of Highway 287, off on a dirt road. This little storm, it's kind of the same area we were in last night, Bob. They had really heavy rains. Like they're talking places with 3 and 4 inches of rain again, and I think it's the same area that it went through last night. So there's some people that just got flooded again. I think the hail threat's really diminishing out of this, but that was sure pretty. I think that you put a couple of those images together, it'll make a pretty sweet panorama. But you can see there, we're obviously not moving, and you can see how fast that edge of that storm is coming across the frame there, the screen. And you can see that from the blowing sage that it's picked up. The wind's really picked up a lot. Let's get my seatbelt on here. Let's get back to the highway and see if we can get south and get out ahead of this again. Again, trying to avoid the rains because I won't be able to focus this camera if we get into the rain too much. We're only off the highway about a mile, so getting back there and getting south won't be too much of an issue. If we get down south fast enough, it could be as good of a look as we just had, or maybe even better. But it is moving fast, so we are going to have to hurry. Bob, if you're still here, you're going to have to jump in with me and ride along sometime. Just a really quick look at what's going on here, guys. This is the blue dot. That is me sitting right here. This storm here, that's the one that had caused all the flooding earlier. It's coming this way. This secondary storm down here, it's another cell, and it's moving more east, it looks like. So we're going to get down here another 4 or 5 miles, get in front of that, and see if we can get a good look at it. That you see on the right-hand side of the screen, that's what we've got to get in front of. I don't know if we have time, but we'll give it a try. Yeah, they took the severe thunderstorm warning off of this storm that's just to our west and replaced it with a special weather statement. That's probably because the hail size is decreasing, and I'm going to guess the special weather statement, I can't read it while I'm driving down the highway, but I'm going to guess it's probably for torrential rains and 50-mile-an-hour winds or so. And the thunderstorm warning is still in effect for that southern storm. That hail core on that is pretty good. But I think it's moving fast enough that I don't think we can get down there and get in front of that. We probably do have time to split these two cells, get in the middle of them, and see what that looks like. Get a little bit of a correction turn on this highway. We'll that storm, and it's a pretty good look at it right there. And it's hard to believe that it's late August and we're still out here chasing thunderstorms and severe weather, hail, and even the mention of tornadoes at one point today from the Weather Service, and the possibility of. You think about 3 weeks from now and it'll be the elk rut and be waking up to barely over freezing mornings, which I can't wait for. That's going to be great. I'm going to shoot elk in Estes Park this year, so instead of doing Canada, we'll be in Estes Park, and might even toy with the idea of doing some live streaming from inside the park, maybe over the old Fall River Road, I think they call it, and just doing some streaming kind of scenic drives and stuff during the day when I'm not photographing elk, between the evening and morning shoots. And I don't know if anybody thinks they might be interested in that. Drop me a comment there and let me know if that's something that you would like to see. It's still a good looking storm, but I think we saw on that dirt road back there, I think we saw the best of it, because I think it's kind of falling apart and it's just going to be a rainstorm here before too long. But at the same time, we might also get some lightning out of it, which could be really cool. Maria says that one further south does have a big hail core on it still, and she's right, it does. I just don't know if we can get down there in time. I don't know. Let's go try. Why not? I actually think that storm, well, I know it is now that we're down headed this way, that you can see in the lower right corner, that's actually the storm down there. We're not that far from it. So why not? Let's go look at it. We're not doing anything else, or I'm not anyway. Just driving. That's the way these chases work. A lot of times when they're kind of around your area, you head out to do just a little short drive, go check out a storm that you see on radar, and next thing you know, you're crossing over into Oklahoma. You've been through part of Kansas. Maria and I did a chase like that not too long ago. We were going to drive down toward Lamar or Springfield. I don't remember where it was. And by the time we were done, we were driving home at midnight, and we had been in 4 different states. So, and that was supposed to be just on a little quick afternoon chase. So that's the way they go sometimes. This is a good looking storm down here that I'm glad we're going. This highway has like a little correction line to it. So we get to actually go back east, which would be a good thing, and then it drops straight south and then a little bit more east. So we're not that far from being out in front of this. We might, the way it's looking, it might be better looking than the storm that we just left. Take you off here, just give you a little look at that over there. That's kind of what I'm seeing. I wish I had a way to, and I'll have a better way to show you this once I figure out how I can mount this camera up here and be able to turn it easy while I'm driving. But that's the southern storm right there. By these trucks, I'm going to show you the back side of this. This inflow tail on this is crazy cool. Look at that, how long that is. The colors in that thing are just amazing. Get down here and get in front of this, and it's gonna look really good. We're just a couple of miles from where this highway cuts back to the east a little bit. What's that town there? There's a little town down there. Oh, it's at Eads. I should know that. So we get to go back a few miles east and get a little further away, which is going to give us a better look, I believe. can kind of see, I can't really point because I need to be able to drive, but you can kind of see where we are, the blue dot there, and where the highway cuts back to the east a little bit. And that's the storm that we're looking at out the windshield right there. For whatever reason, that's not focusing. But, put you back up here for that. We'll be in front of that here in just a little bit. It should look pretty good. Coming into Eads right here, so we're going to have to turn back to the east for about, it looks like maybe 1.5 miles, 2 miles. So we won't have this view of this, and then we'll be able to drop south again and regain our look at it. If we get down far enough south, we'll turn into it. It should be pretty awesome. The hail core on this thing is still holding together. Severe thunderstorm warning still in effect for another 15 minutes. Says it's moving at 35 miles an hour. They're saying just nickel-sized hail, but that hail core looks a little bit more impressive than nickel-sized hail, I think. But nickel-sized hail, maybe we'll just let that run over us and we can all be in a hailstorm today. I think all the hail and most of the storm is going to miss Eads. They're going to get the backside of the rain. Looks like it's barely going to squeeze south of Eads, which is probably good for them. Get out here where this opens up a little bit when we get out of town. We're going to stop and I'm going to show you that storm that we just left that's now back to our, that would be back to our north, because it looks really impressive from down here too. If I can find a place up here to stop once we get out of these trees and stuff out of town, we'll do that real quick. Actually, we're going to stop right here and do it because we've got to turn back south on 287 to get ahead of this storm that we're headed for now. But I want to give you a look at this really quick before we do that, because this storm looks nice that we just left. It really does. Oh my gosh, we got to get a better turn than this. This is really good. Hold on a second, I'll get in position, we can see this. Okay, so this is the storm that we just left back in the south. Look at that thing. Still looks pretty impressive, and it's just got a special weather statement now on it. And anyway, that's pretty awesome looking for this time of year. So we'll go back up on the dash, and we're gonna catch this highway up here, head south and get in front of this other storm. Let's see what it does. We'll have to hurry because like that thunderstorm warning that I just read a minute ago, this thing's moving at 30, so it'll be on this highway in no time, and we won't be able to see anything but rain. Okay, well, right here is where we cut back to the south here in just a second. And we'll get a look at the leading edge of this storm that we're headed to now, trying to get in front of. This long turn. Still looks pretty good. But just to our west, I can see, wow, I don't know if I can show you that or not. I'm going to try. See all of that where it gets light down there, especially if you go out the window here. I don't know if you can tell on the stream, but I can see from here, it's probably not far from a lot of rain. I mean, really heavy rain. And then probably that hail that's in there also. So how long we have to look at this, I don't think will be long. But the further south we go, we kind of buy ourselves a little bit of time here. And we have a good view while we're driving south of the front edge of it. So why not? Let's go down a little further. There's also some storms popping up out of this out of this line that even clear down around Los Animas. There's a new thunderstorm warning in front of that one. That thing just showed up. take you over here. I don't know if you can see that on stream, if you can see that gust front out in front of this storm. That the winds here are probably 40, 50 miles an hour and going to get a lot worse than that. But blowing a lot of dust up ahead of this as it comes in. Like I said, with the rain, we might not be able to maintain focus, but I think there's going to be so much dirt and hail and rain, I don't think focus would even be a factor at that point. Still a pretty storm. The hail core is still holding together. Like I said, I don't know if I believe him that there's just nickel-sized hail in that. It could be bigger. Kind of coming up here to the southern edge of that. Somebody just said they saw 1.25 inch hail on there, looking on the radar. That would be more like it. I'll show you this again. That's, I can't really point or anything, but you can see again the blue dot there on the right side of the screen, and that big purple mass is the hail core. We are kind of headed towards the southern edge of that hail core. And with it moving east, we're going to catch that southern edge of the hail core, or we'll get just south of it. But I think the hail's bigger than what they're saying, but I know the wind's as strong as what they were putting out with this severe thunderstorm warning of 50, because I can feel that driving along here right now. It's ripping. Yeah, out my right-hand window, looking back to the west, you can just tell it's just a solid wall of water right there. That thunderstorm warning that's on this right now expires in 3 minutes. I would imagine that they'll probably reissue that, if for nothing else, for that hail and the wind. And they'll probably extend it out to kind of touch 385, I would imagine, Highway 385. I'm not sure what town that is down there on 385 and 50. Whoa, that was a monster gust of wind right there. We'll see if they reissue it here in a minute. I bet they do. I can't believe that they haven't already extended it. Those two storms, the one that we were on a little bit ago on the dirt road, and this one that we were headed to down here trying to get just south of, they've now all gone linear, and there's just a line of storms that extends from well north of Cheyenne Wells all the way down to Los Animas now, which that's quite a ways. It's funny how these storms do that. They'll couple of supercells, and next thing you know, they're linear, and it seems like when they do that, man, they just blast off to the east. The cells can be running 10 miles an hour, barely moving, and then once they get linear, look out, they just really start moving. And that's what's happening with these guys. I mean, you can see my headlights on the road. It looks like it's dark down here, but sunset isn't for another hour. I think it's just this rain is so heavy with these storms. We're about to find out just how heavy. The only thing that's a little disappointing is there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of lightning with these. And that's originally what I came down for, was with the thought of photographing some lightning. But I think that we're going to turn up here. We're going to turn back into this storm. And we might just let it run over us, because we're kind of far enough under it now, and since it's gone linear, there's not a whole lot of pretty left to this. So we might just sit here and see how hard it really is raining. My guess is really hard. And they haven't reissued it. They just took that off. So on this whole line, even the one down by Los Animas that they originally, now they just did reissue it. Sorry, spoke too early. I couldn't believe that they wouldn't reissue that. And they took the other one off and issued a new one, and it does go out almost to Highway 385. We'll stop here and read the new one, face into this storm for you guys. Usually what they'll do is before the other one expires, before the original warning expires, they'll extend it out. And this one they didn't. They let it expire, and then they reissued another one to take its place. So we'll turn into this, and right here there's a county road. And no telephone lines, which I like. So yeah, so there you can see where we spun around there. You can see that rain into the bright part of the sky there. You can kind of see just left of the road. That's the left edge of that heavy, heavy rain that's in there. And you're a really good look at that. That's kind of what we were looking at. We were driving down the road. And that's to the left of the road is where that rain starts, and you can see how it really just gets heavy over there. I think that'll be here in a matter of a couple of minutes, probably. I'm going to put you back up here. Well, actually, I'll show you this. This is where we are now. Again, the blue dot. This is that line that's gone clear up there now. You can see clear up there north of Cheyenne Wells. It's gone linear, and it goes clear down to that news storm right here. Is that storm at Los Animas, and they've reissued a warning on it. But that line of storms is, man, I'm going to find out in a minute as soon as I put this camera back down. I'm going to find out just how long that is. There's some measuring tools on WeatherWise here that are kind of cool. But it's that line extends just south of Burlington now, down to Los Animas. It's 91 miles, the line of storms on that. Let's read this new warning that they put on this. And let's see, they're listing it as northwestern Prowers County, central Kiowa County in southeastern Colorado until 7:45. So that's for another 45 minutes. Severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from 6 miles north of Eads to Sweetwater Reservoir to 8 miles north of Hasty. These are moving east now at 30 miles an hour. Remember earlier when they were only moving at 10, and the torrential rain in these was causing all kinds of flooding issues. The hazards with this now are they're listing as 60-mile-an-hour winds, which I think that's what we just drove through, and nickel-sized hail. Damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Eads, which is we just left. Neosha Reservoir, which I believe is right where we are setting. Shivington, Brandon, Neo Grande Reservoir. I fished that before a long time ago, and Queens Reservoir. I fished that one a long time ago too. I don't even know if you can still fish those reservoirs. Torrential rainfall is occurring with these storms and may lead to flash flooding. Wow, look at that. You can really see the rain curtains coming through there. Man, it's going to be just pouring in a minute. I hope we can maintain focus until it gets here. Hail threat radar indicated maximum hail size 0.88. And Maria just texted me and says that Aaron has a good question. Let me see if I can find out what that question is. She asked, what does gone linear means? Well, earlier when we were on that cell that was to the north, it was just like an isolated cell. There was another cell that was down. They were separated. They were two separate cells that were moving along kind of just paralleling each other. And then they kind of start to fill in later in the day. The cells will all kind of join and go linear. They'll all basically be hooked together. And once they do that, they typically pick up speed. And the cells were going east, going slow. They kind of hook together, they join in a long line, and they just march eastward. That's about the best explanation I have of that anyway. Usually when they go linear like that, when you're setting somewhere where there's tornado threats and that kind of thing, usually that threat starts to kind of end. Although there can be tornadoes that are produced by a line of storms. Usually you'll see in the line, you'll see a little kind of a notch. You'll see a linear storm be long, but as it goes down, you'll see kind of a little notch in that, and a lot of times you can get rotation and you can get a quick spin up tornado. They're usually not as powerful, although they can be, and they're just start losing their intensity, and they become more of a wind, rain, and still have some hail in them, but they become more of a wind and rain threat. So hope that answers your question. Turn this back around. Let's bring the radar back up and look at that. I'll show you this a little bit more. See where we're setting right here? This was one cell right where my finger is there. That was one cell. This was one cell. And I believe there was another cell up here, and then the new one that was down at, where is it? See, that's kind of isolated down there. See how they're starting to join together there into that line? And how that's a whole line of storms now. There's really no individual cells there. So that's a good look at what a linear. Is that a hook echo? Maria says, no, that is, unless you're seeing something I'm not, that is not a hook echo. I think what you're looking at is this back here. And if you look at this, we can change this and look at velocities. And this is just the direction of the winds in there. And there's no real rotation anywhere in these, no real tornado threat. Just kind of straight line winds out ahead of them that are pretty strong. So anyway, I'm going to put you back here. I'm going to try to get the rain off so we can maintain focus for a minute. And maybe we already didn't. I don't know. Maybe I can try to fix that. Ah, there we go. It looks like the rain is right knocking on our front windshield, and the hail is going to be barely to our north. The wind is for sure here. I think the heavy rain is arriving. That storm down at Los Animas also, that still is thunderstorm warned. That is for 65 or 60 mile an hour winds, expires in 38 minutes. And again, right at 1 inch hail. Okay, let's show you this. I was looking for something there. Maria mentioned a minute ago, she says, is that a hook echo? And if you look at this, this is, it's a picture from, just a screenshot. It looks like from back in June of a storm that I was on. And this edge of this red polygon, this is the tornado warning out of a isolated cell. And she asked, is that a hook echo? But no, what she was seeing isn't. What this is a hook echo. See how that's wrapped around like that? That's from rotation. I wish I had a picture of the velocity in that, because you would see a red and green line there that would probably be fairly tight, because that right there is rotation. If you got a tornado, it's going to be right back in here somewhere out of that. But again, that's a lot different than what we're looking at here. But a good look at what a hook echo is. Bob, hey, thanks. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good evening. So the rain is definitely here, and we've definitely lost focus on the camera. If you guys are just coming in and haven't heard my explanation of that yet. Our streaming setup isn't complete. We're not all the way there. When we are there, I will have control over the camera. Streaming through YouTube doesn't give you that. Pretty soon we'll be streaming to YouTube, but through a home computer, so we'll regain control over the camera, and I'll be able to maintain focus that way. So it's a little frustrating this way, but in the next couple of weeks, we should have that problem solved. But for now, we're going to get to look at really nicely focused raindrops on the windshield. We actually may wait just a minute. We'll go back up on highway on 287, which is right behind us. And maybe we'll just drive north and go driving through some of that hail. It'd be a lot more fun if I could keep it in focus for you. But yeah, I was just looking. Yeah, we're right. Neo Grande Reservoir is right in front of us. What used to be that reservoir. I don't even think there's any water down here in any of these anymore, which is sad. I don't know if anybody in here is a fisherman or not, but man, they used to have some huge crappie in these lakes down here. All right, well, I've got to go back north to get home anyway, so we are going to back out of here and get back on 287. We're going to go north, and we're going to catch the backside of that hail core. And then once we get through that, if we don't have lightning by then, we might wrap this up. I don't know. We'll see. I've seen sometimes these things out of the back side of them, they'll start producing a lot of lightning. So we'll see. Wow, like that. I don't know if you guys could see that flash on the stream, but man, it lit up everything around me. And a big rumble of thunder. I know you couldn't hear that, but that was impressive. That's one reason lightning, being a photographer who loves to shoot lightning, that's one of the most frustrating things about it is usually the best lightning that you see is in rainstorms like this, and there's just no way you can be outside photographing it. So that's a frustrating thing about lightning. Man, I'm telling you, this little drive here back to the north, it is going to be absolutely pouring. And apparently it's going to be windy because I just hit the wind again. And yeah, it is flat coming down. Man, it's really coming down hard. You can imagine with rain this heavy and those storms earlier were essentially just setting still. I mean, they were moving at 10 miles an hour. You can see where the flooding threat comes from. Because it rains this hard at 30 miles an hour and that storm's gone in no time, but at 10, with it raining this hard, it just dumps for so long that the creeks fill up, the land can't take anymore, and you start to get flooding potential. I actually may drive down there tomorrow to that, around the Wild Horse area where they've had 2 nights in a row, they've had these kind of rainstorms. There's got to be some standing water down there in a lot of places. It might be fun to go down, take a drone and fly some of that and get a good idea of just how much water there is. These truckers are all coming through here with their hazards on, so I think it's going to probably get worse than this up ahead of us. I think we're going to miss the hail. We might have one last little chance here to get into the back side of this hail core. We'll see. Yeah, we've got standing water in the fields out here just from this right now. So this ground's pretty saturated after the last couple of days. And with these things moving as fast as they are, that's a look back to the west, and you can actually see the sunset. I mean, as heavy as that rain was, as dark as the sky was, and just like that, you can start to see the sunset out there. And there's water standing on the roads too, so you have to be really careful when it's like this. Because you don't know where you're going to come through a place, especially if it's at night. You can't see the road that well anyway, and you come up on rainwater standing or crossing the road, and it's pretty easy to hydroplane and lose control. And just like that, I think it's gone over the top of us. We're almost on the very back side of this line of storms now, as it'll move on east into Kansas, and we'll probably see clearing skies right here. Probably have a sunset here in a little bit. A nice look at the sunset. So we'll stay live for a while longer because we get out of this rain, we can regain focus, and we might actually get a really pretty sunset, maybe even a really cool look at the backside of this line of storms. Pretty skies. I tell you what, I always, time to time, I have a thought that I want to live in the mountains, but man, there's just something about being out here where you can see the horizon and you get a sunset every day, a sunrise every morning. You don't get that in the mountains, or definitely don't get it in the cities. Beautiful country out here. Out over here one other time. See the standing water on the edge of the road there, and the sun just peeking out below the clouds over there, the backside of these, and could really light up in a while and be kind of nice. Looks like Adrian had to leave, and glad he stopped by. Adrian's one of my best friends, if not my very best friend. Man, look at that. Look at that light there. Look at that. That is crazy. Oh, the rainbow. We've got to find a way to stop and look at that rainbow. I'm going to look for a road. I've got one right up here, County Road N. Maria says she's got to go pretty soon too, but she's got to see this rainbow first. You can't leave yet. This light is just incredible. It's like golden. As a photographer, I call this pinched light. And by pinched light, I mean there's like low clouds and the sun sneaks out below those clouds, and before it gets to the horizon, it's got just a little window, and it kind of pinches the light and lets it blast right across the very, very top of the landscape. And if it's like it is today, it's golden. It's just like a golden pinched light. It's just beautiful. Doesn't usually last very long. And it's not near as pretty when it's out of focus like it is now. But we're going to turn and we're going to see if we can get back into focus so we can see this rainbow. And we can turn right here. The rainbow's a lot fainter than it was, but it still could be kind of nice. Oh, we have water flowing down this road. So we got kind of the left side of the rainbow. It's kind of faint over there. And it goes clear across the sky over to there, just over the cornfield on the right side. Go down here and find a place to turn around, and you definitely don't want to get in the ditches out here right now because, yeah, Maria says the right side is brighter. Yeah, it was way brighter before I was able to pull over. We kind of lost the sun a little bit. We only had a little window of light to make those pop. Water standing on the road here. I was saying you don't want to get off on the edge of these in the ditches. You get so muddy out here that you get sucked into a ditch really pretty easy. And anybody that's still in here too, there is a chance that I'll be chasing in Nebraska tomorrow and live streaming. Probably north of Norton. Might go up there. There's a risk of hail, wind. I don't know what else, but it could actually be tomorrow, and it might actually be 2 days. So I would say there's a really strong chance. If there is, I'll try to schedule something in the morning. And that way, if you've got your notifications turned on, you'll get notified that we'll be live at a certain time. And I'll look at the models tonight. Maria says that light, that what I call pinch light, just makes everything pop, and it really does. It just makes it stand out. When you get that with animals and wildlife, like, which is what I do, and it just makes them really good. Ooh, give you a slow turn there. Maria says, practice, practice, practice. I do need the practice. You can see the standing water on the road now. And that's from probably only a half hour of rain. Some of those places back around Wild Horse, they had that rain like what we just drove through. They had that hanging over them for hours. So with this standing water here, you can imagine what it's like back there. I would imagine a lot of their country roads in that area are probably underwater. We'll get back to the highway here in a second and get back up to Eads, and then we'll have to go west, which is the direction we're going right now, and we'll see what that sunset does. Maybe we'll get some color in those clouds and get a really pretty sunset. And yes, it is a bumpy ride. Show you this radar one more time. Let it focus, hopefully. Yeah, this blue dot right here is us. This storm came from over here, and you can see how that whole line of storms is gone clear out here. 385 is there, how it's just marching off to the east, and it'll go off into Kansas pretty soon. There's still hail with that, probably 1-inch hail with it, so they could get some of that tonight. Not that that's what they want, but they might have some coming their way. Right up here is our turn to go back to the west and head back towards Eads. Where we can catch the highway and head back up towards Kit Carson. Or we could take 96, go east, and drive right back through this line of storms. But I think if we did that, it would just be dark and gloomy and with a lot of rain. And I like that. But this, if we go back this way, we might actually get a really pretty sunset. Show you this over here. This is looking back to the south. That's really kind of nice. Some good color in there. gonna get off this highway and look back to the south here if I can and see if that color down there gets any better. It might. We do have a pretty heavy bank of clouds back to the west, so that might diminish our sunset just a little bit, but it's still pretty light. Man, it's cool here. Man, that storm came through here, it really cooled it off. I think it was like 82, 83 when it came through, and it's 64 now. After all that rain and probably the hail came through. Get through Eads here and we'll turn back south and look at some of that color. It looks pretty nice. Go down here and see if we can get out of town, and I couldn't see who that was. They love the smell of rain. I do too. Man, I got in here where you can't see anything. We're going to find a way out of this little town some way and get out here where we can see this color. Sign says the landfill is closed. It's kind of not what I had in mind, was a pretty sunset over a landfill, but yeah, I guess you take it however you get it, I guess. You could tell your friends, I watched this guy stream. It was the best sunset over a landfill I've ever seen. By the time I find a way to get a look at this, it could be sunrise, not sunset. Okay. Finally, we're out of town. Let's go up here. Get up to the top of this hill, we can see all the way around. Okay. Just for my own experiment, since we're just learning out here, I'm actually going to take you outside the car because I'm not sure how well this is going to work. So if I happen to somehow abandoned the stream, dropped the stream, then I appreciate you coming by. But we're gonna step outside and try to take a look and see if it holds on. We'll find out here in a second. But yeah, so you can, this is the storms we went through. You can see there's a lot of lightning embedded in those storms now. Those are the storms that we just drove through. A lot of lightning. And then back here, this is awesome. Look at that. That's looking back to the north. Field trip. So apparently the stream is still holding on. I don't think I have very much range with this, but I can at least get out and look, which is nice to know. This is walking back around, looking back to the west. You can see the water on the road. Looking back to the color. Yeah, the flashes of lightning. Look at the color back there, it's beautiful. Really nice. Look at the flashes, like Maria said, the flashes of lightning are pretty cool. Love it. We're gonna look at the sunset one more time back here. That's over the town of Eads. Yeah, beautiful colors, it really is. We're gonna get back in because it is cold. And we'll go back here. That's the storm still moving away. Almost out of that warned polygon that goes there. And I don't know if they'll rewarn this or not. If it's gonna be that severe or not, I don't know. See if I can back out of here. I don't really have a place to turn around. I'm going to leave you here for a second with a look over Eads while I jump in the back and get something to drink. Let's just... That color's hanging on for a long time. Surprising. We're going to turn around here a little bit more and just kind of abandon the sunset for a second. And go down here and look at this lightning. Not any bolts that I'm seeing, but kind of some good flashes and stuff. We'll turn right in here. You can actually see that a rain shaft still in that. Sorry, I got to get my seatbelt on. Here we go. Get you leveled up here. You can still see a rain shaft in the middle of that, and I would imagine it's still pouring in there. And they did rewarn that. Man, it's a big area they warned too. And they're still saying 60 mile an hour winds, almost 1 inch hail, 0.88, same as 1 inch. This goes out Prowers County in southeastern Colorado, eastern Kiowa County, southeastern Colorado, and Bennett County in southeastern Colorado. Severe thunderstorms located along a line extending from 11 miles north of Chivington to 8 miles south of Brandon to near Wiley. These are moving east at 25, so they're not even going as fast as they were earlier. But 60 mile an hour winds, a nickel-sized hail, damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Lamar, Holly, Grenada, I guess it's called. Wiley, Sheridan Lake, Towner, Bristol, Chivington, Brandon, and Queens Reservoir, all in the path of the storm. Torrential rainfall, they're still saying, which we drove through that, may lead to flash flooding. And do not drive your vehicle through flooded roadways. It's without saying, but you shouldn't do it. We'll turn here a little bit. There's a little color over there now. That's kind of cool. Look at that. That doesn't get much better than that. That's actually... Nah, I don't want to set up a tripod and go to the trouble to do that. If I was going to photograph that, I would need to go to take the time and do it right and set up a tripod, but we'll just sit here and watch it. Some things you just gotta just enjoy. Yeah, that pink there is. I don't know where that came from. That's looking east. So that's just catching, that is catching the light from the sunset, which is really kind of cool. Because the sunset's back here. So it's probably that bright part that's bouncing off the clouds and getting reflected into what we're looking at there. Which it really is really nice. Okay, as Aaron called it, a field trip. We got to do this again because that color, look at that, extends clear up into these clouds now. Maria saw a cloud to cloud bolt. I didn't see that, but look at that color. That's amazing. That's looking east. So that's just catching the light from the sunset, which is behind us. The lightning's getting really intense in there. And then the sunset back behind us, back to the west. Super pretty. But that color that goes way, way up, way over my head, that's looking straight up. That is really cool. Get back in the car here. Put you on there. Hopefully that'll regain focus. Please, please. There we go. There. That's better. I wonder if we can go any wider. No, we can zoom in, but we're as wide as we can possibly go. Sorry, I had to get out of the car and take a couple of pictures of that. That just looks really neat. I'll shoot a little Insta 360 video of it here that could look pretty good. I don't know. Kind of lost all our color now out of it, but it still looks pretty cool. A lot of lightning in that, man. Really neat. Pretty good way to finish the day. So flip this around here. So with that, I think that we'll probably call this good. A nice sunset and some good colors in the clouds and some good lightning. Not a bad way to finish the day. So anyway, a few people that are left in here, thank you guys for stopping by. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, like the video, dislike the video, but no, like the video, I'm just kidding. And like I said, we may go live tomorrow. I may drive up to Nebraska and see. I'll look at the models tonight and then again in the morning, and may drive up there to see what we can come up with tomorrow. But it was fun. This is the first time I've done this by myself. Maria was in chat and kind of leading that, and that was fun. And trying to do this alone and seeing what the challenges are, which there are a lot when you're doing this by yourself, especially with our setups not complete. It will be soon, but it's a challenge to do it. I have a new respect for those guys that do this alone all the time, and it's not easy. So anyway, thanks for riding along, and man, I'm gonna turn you around, give you about a minute or so of this lightning. It is just really, really cool. And yeah, thanks for riding along with me. It was a lot of fun. I hope you had fun, and I will see you next time. I'll give you just a little bit of this lightning show in front of us, and then we'll call it good. Maybe we'll get a really great bolt screaming through the sky there, hopefully. and maybe not, but come on, one bolt and we can call this a day. We could end this right there with one bolt. Come on. Well, I don't think we're going to get it, so thanks for riding along. Have an awesome night, and maybe we'll see you tomorrow.